A stray black dog was lying on the cold, hard sidewalk. His fur was tangled, and his eyes were shut tight. What really stood out to everyone was what he was holding onto, a small, worn-out teddy bear. It was a sad sight for anyone who passed by. A volunteer from the local animal rescue group, Forgotten Dogs, was out with her team, checking spots where stray dogs were usually found. They were about to head back to the shelter when they saw a heartbreaking sight. Katie walked slowly toward the dog, feeling worried. She saw tears running down his face as he held tightly onto a teddy bear, like it was his only source of comfort. Her heart ached for the poor dog, and she knew they had to help him, no matter what. But when she looked at the rescue van, it was already full of other dogs needing help. With a heavy heart, she gently patted the dog's head and promised to come back for him as soon as she could. Little did Katie know that her act of kindness had caught the attention of a young boy named Mason, who had been watching the scene unfold from across the street. As soon as the rescue van pulled away, Mason dashed across the street to the stray dog spot. He gently approached the trembling pup, speaking softly, "Hey buddy, don't be scared. I'm here to help." As Mason got closer, he saw the dog's ribs sticking out through his thin, dirty fur, showing how terribly hungry he was. Realizing how badly the dog needed food, Mason quickly ran home and returned with some food and water. At first, the dog watched the boy cautiously, still holding his worn-out teddy bear tightly. But soon, his hunger became stronger than his fear. The dog finally inched forward to lap at the water and devour the food. "Good boy," Mason whispered. He decided to stay with the dog until Katie and her team could come back to rescue him for good. But while Katie and her team were hurrying to return to the stray dog's location, something unfortunate happened. Their van's engine suddenly stopped working on the highway, stranding them. Black smoke was coming from under the hood as cars zoomed past them on the busy highway. A call to the Forgotten Dogs shelter confirmed their worst fear. It would take hours for a replacement van to arrive due to the distance and traffic. As the hours passed, Katie felt awful knowing that the poor dog was still alone, and that she couldn't return to help him. Mason waited patiently for the rest of the day, watching over the stray dog and replenishing his food and water bowls. But as night fell, there was still no sign of Katie's rescue van. Reluctantly, Mason had to go home before his parents grew worried. He promised the dog he'd be back to check on him the following morning. True to his word, Mason returned at first light to check on the stray dog he had cared for the previous evening. But to his dismay, the dog was nowhere to be found. Mason searched up and down the street, calling out and looking for any sign of the scruffy pup or his tattered teddy bear companion. As the morning stretched on with no luck, Mason grew increasingly worried about what might have happened to the poor dog overnight. That's when he spotted the Forgotten Dogs rescue van pulling up to the area. Recognizing Katie from the day before, Mason rushed over. "Excuse me, ma'am. I was helping that stray dog you saw yesterday," he panted breathlessly. "But now he's gone missing. I left him with food and water right over there, but he's not there anymore." Katie's face fell as the realization washed over her. She had failed to make it back to rescue the dog as promised. Motioning her team over, she said, "All right, everyone, this is a search and rescue operation now. Let's start looking everywhere in this vicinity and spread out from there. We have to find him." Then the whole team, along with the determined young boy, began a desperate search to locate the missing stray before it was too late. They checked every alleyway, every dumpster, and every hiding spot they could think of, calling out for the dog and listening for any sign of his presence. Hours passed, and their efforts seemed futile. Just then they heard a faint whimper coming from a nearby abandoned building. The team cautiously approached the structure, their hearts pounding with a mix of hope and fear. As they entered, they saw a trail of paw prints. There in a dusty corner, they found the stray dog curled up and shivering. Clutched tightly in his mouth was the tattered teddy bear, his only source of comfort in this dark and lonely place. Katie and Mason approached the dog slowly, speaking softly to reassure him. But as they got closer, they noticed a collar around the dog's neck with a small locket attached to it. Curious, Katie carefully reached out and opened the locket, revealing a tiny photograph inside. The photograph showed a smiling little girl with her arms wrapped around the very same dog that now lay before them. In the girl's arms was the teddy bear, looking brand new and loved. The dog hadn't always been a stray. He was once a beloved pet, as shown in the photograph of a little girl hugging him in the teddy bear. Something tragic had separated them, leaving the dog lost but clinging to the bear as a reminder of their bond. Moved by his loyalty, Katie knew they had to reunite him with his family. The rescue team gently took the dog to the shelter, where he was bathed, fed, and began to feel safe, still holding on to his teddy bear. After ensuring the dog was stable and well cared for, the rescue team sprang into action, posting flyers to gather any leads on the dog's family. They worked tirelessly, fueled by the hope that somewhere out there, a little girl was waiting for her beloved friend to come home. Days turned into weeks, and just as they were beginning to lose hope, a miracle happened. A woman called the shelter, her voice trembling with emotion. She had seen one of the flyers and recognized the dog immediately. It was her daughter's dog, who had been missing for weeks. The rescue team wasted no time. They arranged to meet the woman and her daughter at their holding facility, hoping to reunite the lost dog with his family. As they waited, the dog, now clean and well fed, thanks to their care, sat by Katie's side, the teddy bear still with him. Suddenly, a car pulled up, and a little girl burst out, running toward them at full speed. "Max," she cried, tears streaming down her face. "Max, it's you." The dog's ears perked up, and he turned toward the sound of the girl's voice. For a moment, he couldn't quite believe what he was hearing. But then, with a joyful bark, he bounded toward her, the teddy bear falling forgotten to the ground as he leaped into her open arms. The reunion was a sight to behold. The girl and her dog clung to each other, tears and laughter mingling as they rolled in the grass. The girl's mother watched with a smile, her own eyes glistening with tears of happiness. Katie watched, her heart full of warmth and gratitude. They had done it. They had brought this loyal dog back to the family he had never stopped loving, the family he had never given up hope of finding. After the emotional reunion, the mother briefly explained what had happened when Max disappeared with Emma's teddy bear. A few weeks ago, Emma accidentally left the backyard gate open while playing with Max and the teddy bear she got for her birthday. When we realized Max had left the yard, we searched everywhere but couldn't find him or the teddy bear. We searched the neighborhood for days but had no luck. Days went by, and we feared the worst, that he may have been picked up as a stray or that something terrible had happened. At that moment, Katie understood why the dog had refused to let go of the teddy bear. It wasn't just a toy. It was a symbol of the love that had kept him going, the love that had finally brought him home. What do you think for this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.